it's that feeling once you've clicked in. And it happens when you're learning it too. Like you start to learn the lines and it's like, I'll never learn this. I'll never be able to remember this. And then suddenly it's there.
Yeah.
And it'll feel the same when you're listening to it. It might take you a second to click in, but once you're in, you're gonna hear the beautiful poetry, you're gonna hear these complex stories, and you're gonna feel like you're in the 80s and medieval England at the same time.
Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. I'm here at the West Bank Cafe. I'm sitting here with stage and screen star Michael Urie, who's about to step into the role of Richard II, adapted and directed by Craig Baldwin. Performances begin on October 28th at the Astor Place Theater, and we're going to catch up about this exciting new production. Well, first of all, I am thrilled to be sitting with the two of you here at West Bank Cafe.
Yes.
Right before pre-theater. Now, you tour off today, and you start tech tomorrow?
Yeah, that's right.
That is right.
We just finished our 4 weeks in the rehearsal room. Tomorrow we move into the theater. They are hammering away at our set right now, and we're here with Richard I.
The fabulous
You.
Richard the Lionhearted.
Richard
Or
the
Richard
Lion-
First.
yeah.
No, but seriously, I thank you for doing this on your day off. You must be so excited. Everyone in town is buzzing about this new production of Richard II, which was adapted and, of course, directed by you, Craig. How excited are the two of you? Let me ask you, sir.
Well, this is like super bucket listy for me,
Yeah.
and has been a role that I have wanted to play. We went to Juilliard together. Craig was 1 year ahead of me, and in my second year, I believe, your third year, they did this play in the fourth year class, and Lee Pace played Richard, and it was a very cool production, and I said, I want that, and I've wanted it ever since, and I've been sort of chasing this role and hoping that somebody would, and so when Craig and I worked together on Hamlet, and at the end of the process, I think it was like at the end, I was like, hey, good job. Listen, can we do Richard II together? And it turned out it's one of his favorite plays, and he'd already figured it out.
I've been thinking about it from sort of 15 years ago, and I had actually performed in a production of it at Classic Stage Company with Michael Urie back in my acting days, and so it had been in my head for a very long time. And the moment Michael said Richard II, I thought, you know, who better is there to play Richard II? And so, you know, we've been talking about it for a good 6 years or something.
Yeah, trying to figure out where to do it, who to do it with. What version we could do, and he's been working on this adaptation for a long time, and Red Bull seemed like a good place because we both have a history there. Craig worked there for a long time, and I've worked there a bunch of times, and they do cool classical work, and because that was like it's not an easy play, and it's not done in a lot, so it's not like you come in with I know about the Star-Crossed Lovers, or I know about the King of the Fairies. You know, it's not an easy. It's not. You didn't read it in high school. It's not like an easy play. And Red Bull specializes in that, and they have cultivated this audience that loves that and craves it.
So I want to ask you, the new adaptation,
Yeah.
it now takes place in the 80s.
Yeah,
Tell
absolutely.
me why. I'm fascinated by this.
Well, you know, Richard II is sort of, I like to think of it as like the prequel to Shakespeare's like Game of Thrones miniseries, which is the War of the Roses. So all the history plays, Henry IV, Henry V, Henry VI, all those plays come after Richard II in his timeline. And so I was thinking a little bit about now and the current sort of political climate we're in, and the divisions and the sort of almost brink of civil war we all feel we're in America at the moment. And I was thinking about what is the prequel to that? What is the beginning of the story of America right now? And to me, that was the 80s, you know, Reaganite politics, you know, the sort of explosion of celebrity, image starts to become everything. You know, New York especially, like the deregulation of public housing, the rise of like real estate investors' greed, you know, Wall Street, greed is good. All of that just felt like the perfect world for this story.
Yeah. Now, you love Shakespeare, right?
Yeah.
No, because I love to talk to a lot of actors who would like, they would tell me I was scared of it early on, and then once they delved into it, they were like, oh, it's like there's a musicality to it.
Yeah.
And you just, once you sort of unlock it for yourself,
Yeah.
it's sort of beautiful words to live in.
Yes, that's exactly what it's.
Yeah.
There's a moment when it unlocks for you,
Yeah.
and it happens a little bit at a time. It happened yesterday. We had a run through. It happened for me in a few places yesterday. There's still a few places where it hasn't quite happened. I sometimes see other actors. I'm like, oh my god, it just happened. You know, it's a very exciting thing, and it's weird because it happened the first time I did it. First time I was in a play, I was in high school. We did Midsummer Night's Dream, and it happened for me in that. I played Demetrius. Well, not a huge role, but like enough. He says enough to get into that.
The rhythm.
To like fall into it. And I fell into it, and I was like, this is really good. This is really amazing, and it's really thrilling to do. And every time I'm in a Shakespeare play, I think this is all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to do Shakespeare plays. And we start talking about what other plays we could do. You know, it's like, well, what's next? You know, what? Okay. I know we're gonna do this one, but then what? What else can we do? And I mean, just now I was at the drama bookshop, and I was like, oh yeah, this one and this one. It's beautiful poetry, but it is active thought. He writes what you're meant to think, and so. It is musical in that if you stay on it, if you know what you're saying, and you know what it means, you can, as Craig says in rehearsal a lot, speak at the speed of thought, which doesn't mean fast. It means as fast as you're at the rate that you can think, you can speak. That's what he's given you, is an opportunity to say what you're thinking, and it's very exciting when you're cooking, when you're in the pocket.
And I think the plays are so ambitious in a way that modern playwriting, because of the economics of it, can't always be. You know, we get a lot of beautiful plays that are sort of small meditations in a living room or in a single place, you know, and that's astonishing and great, and I love that. But when you get to do Shakespeare, you get entire nations. And this is a play about a country that's falling apart and divided and can't work out what kind of leader they want. And you know, what better way to talk about contemporary times than a play with that kind of ambition, which is hard to do when you can't afford to have more than 3 actors in a contemporary play. You know?
Well, what I love about Shakespeare too is it's so relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back when he wrote all of these. I mean, I went back to, I didn't read your adaptation yet, but I read Richard II again. I'm like, oh my gosh, if Shakespeare was alive, he could have written this today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he could write a play in his style about our politics.
Yeah.
The way that he was writing about their politics. I mean, this was in his time, but this was their history.
Crazy.
And he understood psychology before there was a word for it. Like, he was talking about our psychology, the way that humans tick, before Freud came up with what that was for us, for our modern sensibility. He was somehow tapped into it. He or whoever it was.
Yeah, exactly. Then the cast you put together for this is amazing.
Extraordinary. I mean, starting with Michael, of course. But yes, Grantham Coleman as Bolingbroke and Lux Pascal as the Queen, and then some sort of industry veterans of Shakespeare like Catherine Misley and Ron Canada. It really is an extraordinary cast.
He said at one point in rehearsal, he was like, we've got a Benedict, a Hamlet, an Iago, and a Viola at this table. And I was like, holy shit, there are some heavies here. We've got some serious Shakespeare actors here. And I knew that going in. I mean, I was familiar with all of them too, but when you put it like that, when it's like, oh, the history, the plays they've got in their pocket, the plays he has in his pocket, like, we can all bring all of this to the table and make something new with something old. Very special.
No, your husband's doing it too, right?
And Ryan's in it.
Spallman.
Yes.
So I want to give a big shout out.
He's
I
gonna
love your
steal-
husband.
Yeah,
I think
so
he's
do
one of the best
I. But
actors.
He's gonna steal the show. It's so frustrating. He
But it
always
must
does
be
this.
fun to like go to work together.
Oh, yeah,
And
it's
experience
great.
the whole thing together.
We love working together. It's really, I love having him in the room.
Yeah.
It's sort of like an intense play.
Yeah.
So like, tension's high sometimes. Sometimes I have to be very upset in the acting. And it's nice to just walk over and say, babe, what'd you bring for snacks?
Yeah.
and know that he's there, you know. Plus, he's a wonderful actor, so
Yeah,
he's
totally.
like great in the play, but it is a really terrific group of people who are all so game and so
Yeah.
kind, which is good because we're doing a play about pretty hateful people. Like ultimately, there's not a good guy in the
Yeah.
play. They're all kind of bad and victims of the curse of the monarchy
Yeah.
and like you know what we've been watching for centuries in England. So we give them a pass, and we still find ways to like root for them and get in their skin. And you know that's when you play a character that isn't a good guy, you have to figure out what makes him tick, and it's challenging.
Yeah. Well, you're also going into the Astor Place Theater, one of the most
Yeah.
gorgeous theaters in New York City. And you picked the Astor Place for a specific reason.
Because the Blue Man Group closed when we wanted to open. No, and you know it was historically, a place where very famous riots happened.
Sure.
About Shakespeare over these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Over,
is wild to think, like the history in this city alone.
And also, it's like this little intimate sort of jewel box of a place.
Yeah.
And we're trying to create, while it's an 80s play with all this kind of 80s disco music and 80s big costumes and that kind of thing, we're also trying to create a really intimate psychological view of politics and how leadership works and how power is grabbed or slowly leached out from someone or let go, and so to be able to see that psychology and that political intrigue in a really sort of close, intimate way was always the goal of the production. So the Astor is sort of just perfect for that.
Beautiful. My final question is, what are you enjoying the most about working on this Richard II? I know you start tech tomorrow, and then you start previews. What are you enjoying the most?
I mean, for me, it's that brilliant cast that you talked about have all sort of found a way of performing Shakespeare that sits in a very, it will feel, I think, a bit like a contemporary play.
Yeah.
I think people expect with Shakespeare, the tights and the pumpkin pants. So, obviously you'll see some 80s hair, you'll see some Holston-looking Studio 54 clothes, big shoulder pads.
Helmet hair.
But also the acting style, I think people will be really pleasantly surprised that they can get into the scenes the same way they would get into, a modern Netflix like political thriller.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of the same for me. That's what I'm excited about too. Is that what we've come up with? I think is quite accessible, and I think what people are most afraid of when it comes to Shakespeare is I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
And you're going to get this. You're going to follow this. You're going to understand what's going on here, and that's in part because we have a great cast it's also because Craig understood it
Yeah.
and explained it to us in a very very clear and easy to follow way, and so we're able to perform it because we know it so well. We understand this play. We understand what's going on, and because we know you're going to know, and because we have license to play it under. We don't have to, we don't have to stand at attention the whole time. We can slouch. We can mumble.
Yeah.
We can. We don't mumble.
Yeah,
but we
don't
could
mumble too much.
But we can be subtle
Yeah.
and throw things away, and it's that feeling once you've clicked in. And it happens when you're learning it too. Like you start to learn the lines, and it's like, I'll never learn this. I'll never be able to remember this. And then suddenly it's there.
Yeah.
And it'll feel the same when you're listening to it. It might take you a second to click in, but once you're in, you're gonna hear the beautiful poetry. You're gonna hear these complex stories, and you're gonna feel like you're in the 80s and medieval England at the same time.